The Mongol invasions of the 13th century triggered one of the most significant waves of migration in Eurasian history, reshaping the political and cultural landscape of Anatolia and laying crucial foundations for the rise of the Ottoman Empire. As Mongol armies swept across Central Asia with unprecedented speed and brutality, countless Turkic nomadic tribes were forced to abandon their ancestral homelands and seek refuge in safer regions to the west. Their arrival in Anatolia transformed a region already weakened by internal divisions and external pressures, setting the stage for a new era of state formation and imperial expansion. The Mongol advance into Central Asia was marked by destruction on a massive scale. Cities that had flourished as centers of trade, learning, and culture were devastated, and traditional power structures collapsed under the pressure of relentless military campaigns. For Turkic nomadic communities, whose livelihoods depended on mobility and access to pasture lands, the Mongol onslaught represented both a direct threat and a profound disruption of established migration routes. Faced with the choice of submission, displacement, or annihilation, many tribes chose to move westward in search of security and opportunity. Anatolia emerged as a natural destination for these migrating groups. The region, governed by the Seljuk Sultanate of Rum, had already become a crossroads of cultures, linking the Islamic world with Byzantium and Europe. However, by the mid-13th century, Seljuk authority was weakening due to internal rivalries, economic strain, and increasing Mongol influence. This political fragmentation created openings for incoming Turkic tribes to settle, negotiate alliances, and carve out spheres of influence. The arrival of these migrants significantly altered Anatolia's demographic balance. Turkic tribes brought with them distinct social structures centered on clan loyalty, military organization, and nomadic traditions. Their presence strengthened the Turkic and Islamic character of the region, accelerating processes of cultural integration that had begun centuries earlier. Settlements expanded, frontier zones became militarized, and new communities emerged along strategic trade routes and borderlands. Under Seljuk rule, many Turkic leaders were granted land in exchange for military service. These frontier warriors, often referred to as Ghazis, played a critical role in defending and expanding the boundaries of Anatolia. They conducted raids into neighboring territories, particularly against Byzantine strongholds, and established semi-autonomous principalities. While nominally loyal to the Seljuk sultans, these frontier states operated with considerable independence, adapting to local conditions and forging their own political identities. The Mongol presence in Anatolia further complicated the situation. After defeating the Seljuks in key battles, Mongol authorities imposed tributary arrangements that weakened central governance. As Seljuk power eroded, local Turkic beyliks, small principalities led by ambitious chieftains, began to compete for dominance. This environment of fragmentation and rivalry fostered innovation in governance and military organization. Leaders who could effectively mobilize resources, attract followers, and maintain stability gained prominence. Among these emerging powers was a small principality located in northwestern Anatolia. Benefiting from its strategic position near Byzantine frontiers and major trade routes, it attracted warriors, settlers, and administrators seeking new opportunities. Its leadership emphasized discipline, religious legitimacy, and pragmatic alliances. Over time, this principality expanded its territory, absorbing neighboring regions and consolidating authority. The social and military traditions carried westward by Turkic migrants played a decisive role in shaping its institutions. Migration also had deep economic consequences. Nomadic groups introduced pastoral practices that complemented Anatolia's agricultural economy. Trade networks expanded as merchants followed migrating populations, linking Central Asian markets with Mediterranean ports. The exchange of goods, technologies, and ideas stimulated urban growth and encouraged cooperation between settled and nomadic communities. Markets became hubs of cultural interaction, where diverse populations negotiated shared rules and customs. Culturally, the influx of Turkic tribes enriched Anatolia's artistic and intellectual life. Oral traditions, poetry, and craftsmanship blended with existing Persian, Arab, and Byzantine influences. Religious institutions adapted to serve increasingly diverse populations, promoting forms of spiritual expression that resonated with both nomadic and settled peoples. This synthesis produced a dynamic cultural environment that supported the legitimacy of emerging political authorities. The weakening of Seljuk control and the continuing pressure of Mongol dominance created a power vacuum that ambitious leaders were eager to fill. Turkic migrants, hardened by years of displacement and conflict, possessed the military experience and organizational flexibility needed to thrive in this uncertain landscape. Their mobility allowed them to respond quickly to threats and opportunities, while their clan based networks fostered strong bonds of loyalty. Over successive generations, the descendants of these migrants transitioned from loosely organized tribal confederations into structured states. Administrative systems developed to manage taxation, justice, and defense. Urban centers expanded, serving as capitals and symbols of authority. Diplomacy with neighboring powers became increasingly sophisticated, reflecting the growing ambitions of Anatolian rulers. The long-term impact of the Turkic migration after the Mongol invasions cannot be overstated. It accelerated the transformation of Anatolia into a predominantly Turkic and Islamic region and provided the human and institutional foundations for imperial expansion. The movement of peoples reshaped borders, identities, and alliances, influencing the trajectory of Eurasian history for centuries to come. As the Ottoman state eventually rose from this environment, it inherited the legacy of migration, adaptation, and frontier resilience forged in the aftermath of the Mongol storms. The experiences of displacement and settlement had cultivated a society capable of integrating diverse populations and governing vast territories. What began as a desperate flight from invasion evolved into a powerful engine of state formation. In retrospect, the Mongol invasions, while devastating in their immediate effects, acted as a catalyst for profound historical change. By driving Turkic tribes into Anatolia, they set in motion processes that would redefine the political map of the region. The convergence of migration, weakening Seljuk authority, and frontier opportunity created conditions ripe for the emergence of a new imperial power. From the turmoil of conquest and exile arose a transformation that would shape the destiny of Anatolia and the wider world.